Welcome to another episode of Those Three Dudes. I am Luke,
I'm Dave.
John.
And I'm Sam.
and Alec may be joining us later. Not entirely sure. He's having some technical issues, but
Everybody is.
yeah, everybody is. Hey, and on Odyssey, I figured out how to put inlet or overlays on OBS.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I gotta pull that up.
So, yeah, but unfortunately I don't know why suddenly now it's showing the the toolbar at the at the bottom of the screen, but oh well, we'll work through it this week. So how was everybody? We took a week off. sam
Hi.
Sam, I saw you at work.
You saw me multiple times. There was one time I was driving a forklift,
Oh, you're
basically
forklift
doing whatever
certified?
I want because I'm forklift certified.
I'm so hard right now.
He gets all the pussy. That's what forklift certified gets you. I didn't even realize that you were on the forklift,
Yeah.
but it, I saw Sam at work while I was at work. So
And he was sitting there thinking he was in a time paradox because normally I don't work that early in the morning.
yep, yep. Dave, are you alive?
Yeah, I'm alive. It's been a rough week, but I survived it.
That's good. That's good.
Oh, I thought your take on Canada Dry being not dry is.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's not even dry, man. Like today's the first day I've actually like eaten food since Thursday.
See,
Uh, yeah,
Canada Dry isn't a remedy down there because it
it's
isn't
it's not.
Verner's.
It's not. And like I tried, there's a gas station down the street from us that sells burners or used to, and he would order it in the glass bottles. And he quit ordering it. So like I went in specifically for saltine crackers and burners because that is what you do when you don't feel good. You eat saltine crackers, you fucking drink burners. But they didn't have any burners, so I had to fucking settle for this fucking goose piss. Canada Dry my ass. That shit seems pretty wet to me.
uh, John, how's the big old tactical koala bear doing?
Well, for the first 4 days, I was doing 49 CFR training the whole week. Oh, Monday to Thursday. Friday was my day off, thank Christ. And in the short time I've had my printer, I've printed more than when I had the old one. And
Amazing what a Core XY machine will do.
oh, I love it. I did my big Gorilla cigar holder.
Okay, it's a cigar holder. I
Yeah,
I showed it to my wife, and she's like, What's this supposed to be holding and
He
stuff?" And I'm
he
like,
missed a prime opportunity. I mean, if it was holding it like this.
I know.
Well, that would only work if there was a woman holding a a magnifying glass. Unfortunately, it's just, we already knew that it wasn't going.
You know what would have been perfect for that picture? Plow sword sitting in its arms.
Yeah, there you go, man. Like you missed a great opportunity to give a cigar wiener to a fucking giant monkey.
I'll see if I
Well, yeah.
can
See, no,
find
you
it.
just go to a WNBA game, you place a bet, and you can you can make yourself a good solid penny for just a
you,
$3
you
investment.
you know what? Somebody pointed out on Noster that more people have been imprisoned for throwing dildos on WNBA courts than off the Epstein list.
Ironically enough, it's also the most people that have ever gone to a WNBA game.
What's everybody
you think-
drinking tonight, by the way?
You think fucking telling them they can't take bags in is going to stop them?
I have got this new thing from Blake's Hard Cider Company that's a collaboration with Carhartt.
That shit's so good.
It is actually pretty decent. It's not as sweet. It's pretty.
It's a dry.
It's not really even dry. It's spicy.
Does it taste canvassy?
It does.
Like a well-worn, salty, canvassy, like a well-worn pair of Carhartts.
No, but you can actually get a good amount of money for those. People want those vintage ones.
I know, I've seen the video. the construction worker that gets offered by
Does it taste like your boss is a dick?
John's got his Michelob.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm sitting in for Alec tonight and trying this hemp-based whatever you want to call it
Stuff. And I am drinking some Hoot and Young, some water, and some Propel. Lots of stuff. Something about I talk too much.
I had to step away for just a second.
Okay. So I would like to, so we don't forget this week, Sam, where's the best online store to get just about anything that you could ever want?
Anything that I ever could want?
Well, okay, anything that most people could want shipped to their door, either by somebody who will leave it out on the curb, out in the street, or at their door, or by cool delivery drivers like myself.
Well, you got one or two options. One, you can go to Solo Satoshi, get yourself a bed axe, or if you're looking for more of the paintball variety, you go to sucklesspb.com and get yourself some fantastic paintball gear for a good solid price that you can get with your money that you made from your solo bed axe.
No, Sam, it's Amazon.com. Damn it. You screwed it up.
I thought I did pretty well. I mean,
but you can also go to sucklesspb.com or solosatoshi.com.
Jesus, not another one.
What'd I miss?
Old man yells at clouds that are interfering with his kick stream, and Sam screwed up our first of the affiliate of the week.
Hey, he got two of them.
Listen, unlike Hulk Hogan, I put two people over.
Show's over, guys. It's ruined. Sam's fault.
Yep. Damn it, Sam.
Talking about our Amazon link, I have bought a fair bit in the last 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm hoping
hopefully they
some.
Yeah. I have noticed that it can take a month before it registers.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, the jungle site likes to fuck you.
Yeah. Just like their delivery drivers do.
Oh, I fucked on them. I made them carry a 32-pound package.
I'm surprised that they didn't ship it through us.
Hey, they might have. I don't know. I didn't look at the label yet. Just like those 9 cases of lifters.
Fuck you.
So before we get into too far into the show, I did want to bring up I watched the whole new season of King of the Hill.
Whole new season of King of the Hill. How is it?
It's not bad. The first episode is weird. But it's only because like they're trying to like reintroduce characters that we haven't seen on TV in 15 years.
Yeah.
But overall, if you get past the fact that Johnny Hardwick is gone, And Toby Huss is doing a fantastic job, like trying to match the voice.
And he's
And
the one who does Cotton normally, right?
yeah, he did Cotton and Con.
Oh yeah, and Khan. Yep.
Yep. He did a good job for not being Johnny Hardwick. You can definitely tell, and it takes a little getting used to. And then they revoiced Khan, which just does not sound right at all. But overall, I do recommend watching it. It was not as terrible as I thought it was going to be.
That's cool. That's good. I
Yeah.
I was I was worried about that.
A lot of the recasts they did really well. So they recast Connie, which was perfect because she's 21 years old now. They recast Joseph and Chain Wasana Song. And both of them were suitable. They did well. Bobby is still voiced by the same person, but she fucking grimed it up, and it actually worked really well.
Which
Um,
officially makes it more anime than some anime.
you're 100% correct. Actually, in fact, there is they do nod back to the Japanese episode in one of the new episodes. So I mean, technically, it did take place in Japan at one point. So King of the Hill is an anime.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend watching it. Like, it's it's not what anybody thought it was going to be.
It's on Hulu, right?
It is on Hulu.
Well, I mean, I didn't well, I was wondering how it was going to be, but I felt optimistic about it. So,
Yeah, and I really think that they left it open for another season if it does well, to bring it back as a reoccurring thing. Um, Peggy is still just as annoying as she was through the first 15 seasons,
yeah.
but definitely recommend it. It's we went through it in a couple of days, but it was pretty good.
How many
Damn it, Bill, I'm
episodes?
gonna kick your ass.
There's 14 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, 14 episodes in or the first season.
Might be worth it for me to actually upgrade then, is what you're telling me.
It might be worth it. There you go. There's another one for you, John.
Christ.
It might be. I mean, I would wait because Disney Plus announced that they're going to do a full merger of Hulu to Disney Plus, so we'll see how that goes. But
I mean, I don't know what they mean a full merger because like we can from Disney Plus we can watch some of the Hulu stuff, but then
everything
other stuff you have to pay for the double
it's
subscription.
it sounds like they're integrating Hulu 100% into the Disney Plus platform.
Okay.
God.
Which would technically make Hank Hill a Disney princess.
It would be. It would be.
That has a better ass than Nancy Mace.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, shall we get into this week's topic?
Yeah.
So, to start out, so the what was originally proposed is talking about chivalry in the modern age. And for those of you that may not know what chivalry is, the American Heritage Dictionary of Chivalry is noun. Number one, medieval system principles and customs of knighthood. Number two, the qualities idealized by knighthood, such as bravery, courtesy, honor, and gallantry towards women. And three, a manifestation of any of these qualities. So, diving a little bit deeper into it. So, there is 10 commandments of chivalry based on French literary historian Leon Gautier came up with in 1884. Number one, thou shalt believe all that the church teaches, and thou shalt observe all its directions. Number 2, thou shalt defend the church. Number 3, thou shalt respect all weaknesses and shalt constitute thyself to defender of them. 4, thou shalt love the country in which thou wast born. Number 5, thou shalt not recoil before thine enemy. Number 6, thou shalt make war against the infidel without cessation and without mercy. I like that one. Thou shalt perform scrupulously thy feudal duties if they be not contrary to the laws of God. 8, thou shalt never lie and shalt remain faithful to thy pledged word. 9, thou shalt be generous and give largesse to everyone. Give large shit to everyone. How about that? Number 10, thou shalt be everywhere and always the champion of the right and the good against unjust and evil. So yeah, that is like the 10 commandments of chivalry, supposedly.
Man, if I just show undying love for the country that I'm born in, people look at me weird.
I mean, we also need to talk like
humping mailboxes is, a lot of people do think that's weird, Dave.
I really like trains and I really like factories.
So, like, some of those are counterintuitive. Like, thou shalt give money to the church, but thou shalt believe the Bible. My favorite Jesus is the table flipping Jesus.
Wait. Where does it say give money to the church? It doesn't say anything about giving money to the church.
Didn't it say thou shalt fund the church?
No. No. Thou shalt believe all that the church teaches, and thou shalt observe all its directions. Thou shalt defend the church.
Defend.
Yeah.
I thought you said fund.
No. Nope.
I was about to say, because a table flipping Jesus would like to have some words.
My little assistant here, who's what are you eating, kid? Oh, okay, veggie straws.
I mean, this was so much easier to follow when the Pope could just tell us to go kill people, and everybody did it.
Deus Volt.
I mean, honestly, like I said something to my wife about this being the topic tonight, and she's like, "You mean the fact that chivalry is dead?" And
to a certain degree,
yeah. I mean, and what Dave wanted to add on to this topic was how TVs and movies, or TV and movies, have influenced modern day chivalry as well.
Well, it's I don't think it's so much influencing it. It's actually the exact opposite of it.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that's consumed now, and I'm going to let you go a little further before I get into my rant, because I don't know how I want to segue into this yet.
Okay. I'm starting to think, like, some people want a notebook life. Thanks, Nicholas Sparks, for fucking everything up for everyone. But they live, not in the style of that would come to that. Like, hey, if you want this, you can't pick and choose. You have to go all balls in deep of it. Like, or like some like really awful expectations. I'm talking to you, Pretty Woman. That film. So it's things that never happened for 500, Alex.
Mm.
And I think though one thing that I've observed, or at least maybe this is just my opinion of it, is a lot of it is the difference between how men raise, I'm not going to say their sons, I'm going to say how men raise their daughters. And I feel like this stops at a certain generation, which has influenced the way that this conversation is going to go. Right. So we talk about our generation, right? And I'll lump Sam into that. I know he's much younger than most of us. But girls were raised to think they're a princess and that they should be treated like a princess, right? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's not. But now you're mixing it with this culture that started, I would, around the suffrage, where women want to be this independent, I can
I
do
think
anything.
I think it's too much of a mix between them.
Yes. Yes. And now you're influenced by these musicians and rappers and about how the only way to be empowered is to be a bitch,
Yeah.
essentially. And you add in the porn industry, giving women this false sense of, I'm not going to say value because I'm not saying that women aren't valued, but it kind of distorts where their values lie. So why would I as a man want to pursue somebody who essentially whores herself out based on what she deems as empowerment or a societal norm?
Yeah.
I'll say it. The old adage, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say it. I won't put anyone else in the doghouse on
Hold,
that
hold
one.
on, hold on. Hey, Patriot Plumber, when you hear this, I think your dad gave you that information years ago. But congratulations, because you just got married. So finally. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, and that probably is a bigger case because what did we grow up knowing of chivalry? Opening doors for ladies, obviously never hit a woman, be
Unless you're
courteous,
Sean Connery.
respectful. What?
Unless you're Sean Connery.
Unless you're Sean Connery. or Chuck Norris.
Well,
I mean
Sean
just
Connery,
because Chuck Norris could hit anybody.
well,
So.
but Sean Connery went on an interview basically just like defending hitting women. Like, yeah, she deserved to get hit, and I'd do it again.
I really think
Brings back an SNL skit to my mind.
it's just this conglomeration of a bunch of different things that, I mean, we're at a time where we have to teach our sons that you have to be careful what you say, what you do, how you act around girls because it can be construed as sexual harassment or sexual assault or these false claims to get pushed on kids and guys all the time. And unfortunately, what that does is it muddies the water for women who genuinely experience something. But now it's driving boys, young men, further away from women as it is. I mean, men are afraid of women, you know?
Yep. They it's simpler to, download porn and not worry about the possibility of being added to a sex offender list for, anything from peeing in public to just, opening the door for somebody and saying something wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
it's and
Hold on.
and I a lot of this, yeah, I fully agree that uh that uh TV and movies have, well, media, social media, everything, all all media has turned into this whole uh just I sort of go back to, okay, tinfoil hat time for me. My whole, they want to split up the family unit. They want women outside of the house. They want kids being taught by government employees. They want, you know, everything is much dependent on the government and on outside influences as possible to break up that family unit so they have more control. And this falls into that category as well. I mean, trying to teach women that, you know, the acceptable thing is to become an OnlyFans model, and you know, you know, in the fact that now they're like, any woman that doesn't want to do that and would be happy just being a stay-at-home mom is labeled uh, a trad wife or trade wife or whatever. Traditional wife is what they're,
Yeah.
what they're being labeled, something that's supposed to sound like it's offensive and everything, because they're they're menial jobs. My wife works 24/7, 365 days a year. I get weekends off from my job. And and I mean, and I get nights off. Her job is 24/7.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, she does a hell of a lot more work than I do. So the fact
Absolutely.
that and I feel that that makes her more of an independent woman than any feminist out there. I mean,
And Amber raises a good point I'm going to get to when uh I want to add to that. Like I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like Amber does way more around the house than I do. She does the laundry during the week. She cooks for me. She has dinner ready before I get home. You know, she gets the kids ready for school. She gets them off the bus because, you know, I work 12 hours a day, you
yeah,
know, and she works from home. So she's here, you know, and she puts in that work and she puts in that effort. And, you know, that's more valuable to me than anything. Like I come home to hot food on the stove when I get there. She doesn't have to do that, you
and in
know.
many ways, she's working two jobs, really. If she's working from home plus she's being a housewife, I mean, she's
Sam,
really she's really doing two jobs.
Sam, how could you?
Do I? Well, can I what?
How could you? Storybrooke, he says that she's labeled as a fat and lazy over being a stay-at-home or over a stay-at-home life. Who do you think or what you think this house magically stays clean? Homemaking is a full-time job too, even more so as a mom. Why would you say those things?
That was not directed towards me.
Why would you say those
Damn
things,
it, Sam! What the hell?
Oh, no, hold on a minute.
Holy
Those are not.
shit.
Wow!
Wow. Those are not directed at me. But I know who that's directed at. Unfortunately, they'll never see this.
Oh
But
God.
damn.
You know,
Amber-
I can send any of you guys a copy of the video footage on like DVD if you need to send it someplace. I can compress it all down and just spam whoever's inbox you want it sent to.
Amber touching on the OnlyFans and the porn industry brings up the good point too that the porn industry has distorted men's expectations of women as well.
True.
You know,
Well, yes and no. I mean,
Well, so unfortunately, we don't have the right person here for that.
Alec, yeah, we're missing Alec who has 100% seen all of Pornhub.
So
and
here's
X Hamster. I think he said that he got to page got into like the 300s or something for pages or something like that.
like here's my thing with the OnlyFans, and we haven't seen this yet. So this is like like another boom in that industry. Like, when the amateur thing started coming out in the late 90s, that was a boom. This is a boom at a whole new scale. And I don't think we're going to see the effects, the true family effects, until like maybe another 10 years, when all of a sudden, some of these models, they've quit, they've had kids, and now, it, you're gonna be like, hey, I saw your mom's fucking snatch on, fucking leaked.
That's given bullies a
Yeah, we're
whole
a
new
whole
thing,
new
sticking
level. But
sticking
also,
sticking their kid's head in the toilet and whispering in the ear, tell your mom to do more anal.
yeah, but at the same time, it's what this whole sort of thing has done to Generation Z, specifically some Gen Z males. They've become way more militant
Hmm.
and conservative to a fault. Like, we're talking, we're seeing a whole, like you might as well start calling them Generation Zyklon, because of it's getting a little spicy. But what do you expect when you have one side saying you're a piece of shit, because you're a man, you're never going to amount to anything, or oh, you're this color, so you have privilege, and you're no good. And meanwhile, you have people like the Tates saying, oh, well, hey, hold on a minute, you know, be a king, you know, women are nothing but objects. It's that media factor has a thing. And like the US and some other countries, especially Europe right now, is trying to restrict media access. It is not the government's job
No.
to determine what is appropriate and what is not appropriate for view. It should
Yeah.
be the individual, like, people that say, hey, do I want my 5-year-old to be watching this? That we should not be giving that power up to the government, because it's going to get twisted, and everything the government touches turns to shit.
Well, it's already getting twisted in Australia because they're talking about a total ban on underage access to the internet.
Well, to a certain point, I think it should be thought of, but it shouldn't be the government's. The government shouldn't have any part of that. That should be the individual people going, hey, you know what? The internet's not exactly a fucking safe place.
Right.
Nope.
Like, if you've been around, like, a lot of people are like, oh, the internet's fine. Until you run into some people that will find out where you are by a piece of, like, by a picture of your foot in the grass, and then figure out where you fucking live.
Yep.
Joke's on you. I already know where I live.
Joke's on
You
you. I
look
know
at
what my front door looks like.
you look at all of these swatting incidents where people are being streaming, and all of a sudden there's a cop with a rifle to the guy's head.
Yeah, that's the first time. That was absolutely fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
Now
I
it's
mean,
just kind of boring.
yeah. Uh,
I mean, that's how they got Craig the Spicy Boomer.
Yep. And I feel like a lot of this starts at home too, because nowadays, like, you think back to when our parents were growing up, it was incredibly difficult to get a divorce.
mm,
There it
you say
it's
that, but I'm a
It's
product
gotten
of divorce, so
so am I, but it wasn't as common.
it
It
wasn't.
wasn't as accessible,
Yeah.
and now you can go through a fucking drive-through lawyer's office and get divorced like that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
shit. Was I when I was in high school? And granted, I had a large graduating class, so like even a big sample size. You would be lucky if only like 5 out of my class would have had, divorced parents.
Yeah.
Maybe even, at the time. Now maybe later on, whatever. But I would imagine the numbers are probably a little bit higher. I don't know what the
Mhm.
divorce rate is now, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was higher.
We can
yeah,
find that out.
and I feel like a lot of that comes from the fact that we've taken choice away from a lot of people. We haven't, not we, but society has taken choice away. Like they influence everybody to think this and think that. Where what I'm getting at is home lives have been broken enough to where they don't explain to kids, they don't explain to young men, they don't explain to young women that love is a choice. You choose to love somebody. It's not something that just, it's not just like a fucking feeling, it is, but it's not something that just maintains itself by fucking on its own. You have to put the work in, you have to choose to want to be there, you have to choose to want to make it work. And I'm kind of losing my train of thought here for a second, but it doesn't happen anymore. It's so easy to throw something away and pick up the next thing that walks by. You're unhappy. All right. You think you're unhappy. She does something that makes you angry. I'm just going to get a divorce and I'm going to marry the next thought that fucking walks through.
Okay, so divorce rates are actually down.
Yeah, I saw that, but there's also something interesting in the graph that I'm wondering if you picked up.
Well, it I'm going from 2000. This is the CDC's. Oh, wait, no, this is marriage. Hold on.
Yeah, so I think I pulled from the same, but there's something interesting in the graph that I thought was interesting for the simple fact.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Okay, so for this, yeah, it's still down, but so in 2000 the divorce rate was 4.0 per thousand people. So I mean, it's still 4 people out of every 1,000 people were divorced. uh, 2000, 2001, 2002, it drops down to 3.9, then 3.8, 3.7, 3.6, 3.7, 3.6, 3.5, 3.5, 3.6. And it just keeps going until 2000, or yeah, 2023, it was down to 2.4.
Right. So I put the chart that I pulled. Its data comes from the same place, but I highlighted what's the interesting thing about the chart. I put it in the Zoom meeting chat.
Bring I forgot to share screens now up, so
Yeah.
you can share screen.
Oh, all right. I had clicked off of it.
Oh, or I've clicked off of it.
Hold on. Give me a second. Bang. Sure. So the interesting thing about this chart is this highlighted section right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Where have we seen this sort of tomfoolery before?
So women in the U.S. 15 years or old or over, this is their divorce rate.
Right. So we've seen this with like Giffords and other when it comes to gun
Yeah.
deaths, where they're excluding
Suicides and
well, no,
they're including suicides, but they're excluding like what was the
so for infant mortality, they're excluding like 0 to 1, when it comes to like, hey, this is guns kill more children and everything, but they're including 19-year-olds, which aren't children, though that some of them definitely probably are, but legally they're not children.
Nope.
And 0 to 1-year-olds, where hey, if a child is going to die in that spot, is probably where it's most likely going to happen. It's so I feel that there's some tomfoolery with these with this data, because I don't know very many states that allows 15-year-olds to get married.
Alabama.
Yep.
Is it? I would expect.
No, I have no idea.
Actually, there are states in the U.S. There's a couple of them that allow it.
Yeah. I think you have to have parental permission and stuff, but yeah, I know there are a couple states that do.
Oddly enough, incest is illegal in Alabama, but legal in California.
Maybe that's why they're all so damn. Sorry,
Hawaii and Kansas.
15
are the two states where the minimum marriage age is 15.
Okay, well, no one lives in Kansas.
Oh, but hold on. This date, that which doesn't make any sense, because all of that data excludes data from California, Hawaii, Indiana. Well, it all excludes data from Hawaii. Yep, every one of them exclude Hawaii. So Kansas, okay. Yeah.
So the real question is why is this? Why is divorce so common now?
I feel like it's just the influx
we're
of
in a
lawyers.
Culture of not fixing things anymore. We're in a culture where, hey, I don't get my refrigerator fixed. I don't get my washing machine fixed.
Everything is disposable.
Yeah. So why is my marriage any different?
Yep.
Right. Like you used to be able to fix your TV. You can't. My dad's a TV repairman. He's got the ultimate set of tools. So no one's repairing TVs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is this, for the most part, disposable, except for cars. But some cars might as well be fucking disposable.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a big church religious person or anything, but there's also been the push away from religion, which in the past was one of the big points to keeping the family unit together, was under religion.
Mm-hmm.
But there's been that huge push away from it because they're trying to push the family unit apart anyway.
So if we get a time machine, do we stop the Titanic from leaking, or do we raid Jekyll Island?
We raid Jekyll Island, because if we raid Jekyll Island, then that also avoids the Titanic disaster, because because you've heard the new conspiracy on the Titanic, right?
I mean, that was what
did it stop the Titanic?
No. The fact that J.P. Morgan, owned the Titanic, and he got rid of his three biggest critics towards going over to a Federal Reserve in the United States on the Titanic when he canceled his voyage on the Titanic like minutes before it left.
Yes, I did hear that. So let's use our generation, as kind of the starting point. That's when you start to see an incline in divorces. You start to see the incline in the disposable lifestyle that everybody lives, right?
Yeah.
We're all having kids now, right? So if we're in that mind frame that it's okay for us to it's okay for us to just walk away from something that doesn't work, right? Or, we're shitty people. We'll use that as an example. And kids from these families, what are the only escapes that they have? The internet and video games and movies and music and whatever they use to fill that void. And our media is just chocked full of dysfunction these days. Very few TV shows out there show the nuclear family,
Yeah.
and the ones that do get labeled as conservative and racist. Look at Last Man Standing, how much flack that show got. How much Tim Allen got shit on for being a fucking conservative, and nobody wanted to watch the show until it got canceled.
Yep.
So what example do they have? What do they have to model their life after if the only thing we feed them is garbage?
Yeah. I mean, and that's 100% accurate too. I mean, and now parents, and this brings back my whole breaking up the family unit, putting both parents in the workforce out of the house also tends to drive the kids, as you said, into technology, into the TV, whether it be, you know, everybody's home and the parents are just trying to like get caught up so they don't have time to spend with the kids at all. So the kids just watch TV, or whether it be the kids are coming home from school after being taught all day communist and socialist values, um, and how, boys that can't compete in men's sports should become girls and compete in girls sports and everything. um they're coming home, nobody's home, so hey, let's sit down and play video games or get on the TV. So uh, yeah, I mean, I miss like the 80s sitcoms, the 70s and 80s sitcoms where you have a laugh track in the background
Yeah.
also. Uh, you know, Disney has added Home Improvement, Tim Allen's original show,
Huh?
to Disney Plus. And we watched those shows and everything, and you watch like the blooper reel at the end of the show. You watch just the show in general, and how much of that could be actually filmed today and
Mhm.
actually be put on TV. I mean, how much of that stuff, especially in the blooper reel, would be considered sexual assault
Yeah.
by nowadays? I mean, Tim Allen was at one point, like, they were wearing kilts or something for Scottish games and everything, and
Yeah.
like
That's a
he's
good episode.
flashing Jill, his TV wife, after the show's off, like he's lifting his skirt, and she's like, "Oh my god," and stuff. Nowadays, that can get your ass arrested if you were to do that.
Mhm.
Unless you're Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, that's just anxiety.
That's just right. Yeah.
But none of that shit can get away with nowadays, and it's like,
Here's the thing: you could film that series, but you couldn't have you couldn't have the intro girl like for Tool Time. You
you
couldn't do that.
know,
Hell,
Yeah.
Tim Allen wasn't even the best character in that. His character wasn't even the best one.
Amber does bring up a good point too, where women having the option to walk away from abuse now versus 100 years ago would also factor into those rates probably as well.
Huh.
Because she's right. It's one of the positives for the way that how our society is right now, where women don't just have to deal with that. They don't just have to do cocaine and mop the floor anymore, or they're afraid they're going to get hit by their husband if the pot roast is burnt.
Yeah.
yeah, they do
You know
have
how How John
They have
grew up.
more at their disposal to get out of that situation.
Yeah, but they can't go to the doctor if they have female hysteria.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. Yeah, you need to pay the doctor to finger your wife. We also did hand out lobotomies back there, like it was fucking back then, like it was candy too.
You know, when you
Well,
look at some of the videos online, you sit there and go, maybe they had a point.
yeah.
I've been trying to get a lobotomy for years. They won't do it.
Well, the oversensitive, anybody oversensitive was also shipped off to a commune
Hmm.
or a psych ward and stuff to spend their days with with just, I mean, just the the worst people on earth.
You know, when we talk about how media influences, or influences it, you think back to the TV that our parents watched and that John's parents watched, where it was always, yeah, the woman was expected to, be a certain way, but the show ultimately showed like, hey, you treat women this way, like you treat them like they're something
Respect.
special,
Yeah.
you know.
Hold on. Archie Bunker kept, in the Honeymooners, he kept threatening to send Alice to the goddamn moon.
He
This
did
is true.
threaten to send Alice to the goddamn moon, but he loved Alice,
He did.
Yes.
you know.
He would send any other person to the goddamn moon
You look at your,
that even looked at her wrong. So
you look at your Humphrey Bogarts and your Frank Sinatras, in what I consider the golden age of cinema, where yeah, they portrayed themselves as what was scoundrels back then, but it was always, about love.
yeah.
That,
They were
that,
doing it. They were doing it for a woman.
yeah. That reminds me of an episode of Young Sheldon, which was an interesting series. The Big Bang Theory was awful, but Young Sheldon was a little bit better. Uh, but there's an episode where, one of George, who was the husband, is his son had a lady friend that the dad was abusing her, and so she was staying at their place. Dad
Oh
came
yeah, I've seen
up.
that clip.
Yeah, and he just one, you can't do that now, but you could probably get away with it in the '90s,
Hmm.
early '90s. That's the difference between what we've like the amount of litigiousness we've got into society is also increased to where, you know, if I were to go flatline someone on my front porch, even if I'm not in legal trouble, I will probably be in civil trouble.
Yeah, and I was kind of working my way up to that genre of TV show as well in that time frame,
Yeah.
because then you had your Green Acres, Family Farm, and then you get into the 70s and 80s, you had Al and oh, what
Alan
was
Peg.
yeah, Al and Peg, where yeah, Al liked to pretend that he hated his wife, but he showed time and time again throughout the show he would do absolutely anything for her. Then you got your King of the Hills and dare I say Family Guy. That's not really a great maybe we'll use The Simpsons instead. Um
Do it for her.
and yep, and you
Yep.
have your young Sheldon that shows, the parents in what would be a good light to model somebody in as a relationship. But then you get past that, and every show that gets crammed down your throat is about being single and, sleeping around and going to bars. And we've hit a point where we no longer show what a home life should be and show what we expect or what society deems as normal now.
But the odd thing is like numbers wise, like Generation Alpha, which is generation after me, some of the older ones in there are now able to drink alcohol. Their
Hmm.
alcohol consumption rates
It's
are
way down.
it's
Oh
way
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
It's way down.
They're also more into investing as well and saving
Yep.
money.
Right. So at which point, like these these shows that are for, I still think they're target. A lot of them are targeted towards my generation of the millennials, where you have, the younger side is just starting to get to 30, the older side is in their 40s,
Mm-hmm.
their early 40s.
I mean, technically, I saw a video that reminded me the other day about, so I'm a Zennial.
Yeah, you're in
And
that
I'm
bridge.
I'm a Zennial, and technically until 1996, I was still considered Gen X because every generation till Gen X was a 20-year
Yeah.
generation. And then in 1996, they're like, oh, you know what? We're going to make Gen X only a 15-year generation. So, hey, all
God,
you 81 through 85 babies are now millennials.
goddamn liberals, and they're changing up my fucking generations.
But yeah, it's
And you're right about there being a swing. You know, like I'm gonna use iFunny as an example. Like, not that they should ever be used as a good example, but they are an example where
Dave, we get most of our media these days, most of our news,
yeah,
current
from
events these days from
from
memes
iFunny, yep.
and iFunny.
But there's this huge push to almost to zealot status where they're pushing Christianity and they're pushing long-term relationship, and you start to see these younger I'm starting to see some of these younger generations that are kind of casting away the e-horrors and the non-committal types, and they're speaking out against how their parents turned out, those of us that have divorced parents, and they're pushing more towards that core family again. They want a little farm, they want a house with a white picket fence. um, Somewhere along the line, they saw what we have always been raised to believe is the American dream that has gotten lost, over the last few decades. Somewhere they saw that and have decided that that's what I want in life now. But I don't think that that's celebrated enough, and I don't think that it's supported enough.
Have you ever heard of the fourth turn?
No.
Okay, so fourth turning says that there is, and this isn't set in stone. There's actually books on it and everything, but so you've obviously heard uh strong men make good times make that
Yes,
whole
yes,
that
yes,
whole
yes,
thing.
yeah.
That's pretty much based on the fourth turning.
Hmm.
And right now the alphas are supposed to be going into um that hard times make strong men again. So
Oh, and brother, they're about to get hard.
oh, they are. So unfortunately, that means that we're the ones that have made it that way. But
Well, I mean, that's
I would
true.
I would argue because the boomer generation was so large and still have so much voting power.
you can't blame it all on the boomers, though.
But I can and I will.
They ruined the housing market.
Them and
They
BlackRock.
did not ruin the housing market. The
Yes, they
house.
did. Yes, they did.
Yeah, yeah,
They
we get it,
Okay,
John.
okay, okay, okay.
sell their home to BlackRock so BlackRock fucks us.
No, honestly, they didn't sell it to BlackRock. BlackRock came in behind everything and bought up all the shit from Fannie Mae and
Yep.
Freddie Mac and all this stuff out from under. But no, the boomers, like right now, the millennials and even the alphas are complaining about, interest rates on housing, buying new houses and stuff. But the boomers were the ones that actually had to deal with like the 18% interest rate through the
Well,
70s.
Yeah,
18% on a blueberry
yeah,
isn't
18
anything.
18% on fucking $20 and a half a can of fucking warm Coke really isn't
Seven
that
in
much.
in 71, when when we completely left the gold standard, and it completely
And
the fucked over the actual monetary system of
who was in charge then, or starting to come into power around that time, Luke?
Nixon.
The boomers.
The boomers.
They were the largest voting base.
They were the largest voting base.
They were the ones responsible for taking us off the
but
goddamn gold standard.
No. Hey. No, because it was the silent generation that was actually running the country at that point. The boomers were not. The boomers were just coming out of Woodstock and getting done with being hippies, because the boomers were the hippie generation.
Well, yes and yes, they were, but you also have to remember that the boomers stop in what, 65, and that's
65.
when you're getting the product of
the boomers that were born in 65, because you're talking the boomers were like, so in 71 the youngest boomer was how old?
Been born would had to have been born what,
In 65?
May, and before the end of May in 65.
Yeah. So you're talking
old.
Yeah, a 6-year-old boomer is not causing any trouble with the voting, with the government, with the going off the gold standard.
Yeah,
no, it was the silent generation that took us off the gold standard. So
fine.
You got to stop blaming the boomers. Because right now the alphas are getting ready to blame everything on us. And actually, the betas are going to blame everything on us. And they might be more justified to doing it, too.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not wrong. Yeah, I do want to hear more from John.
I thought there was 2 boomer generations. The boomer and the baby boomer. So
think of it as the split between, so like your baby boomer is going to be your post, like your late 45 after post World War II into probably just after Korea, I would imagine. And then your standard boomer would probably be at like in that little intermediary period before 65. I'd have to imagine that's the difference between the two.
No,
it's kind of like even my generation, we have like elder millennial and younger millennial, because that generation spans,
Well, no. So the boomers start out in 45.
46, yeah.
46. Well, 46, because they were up until 1996, all generations were 20-year time frames.
Yep.
So the oldest boomer in 71
couldn't have been,
was what, 30?
30s, yeah.
So,
well, depending. So you figure in 71, yeah, 32-ish, 30-ish, somewhere in that ballpark, you're right.
Yeah, right around 30.
Because they would have had to have been born in 46.
Yeah.
Well, then that makes me on the arse end of a boomer, because I was born in 62.
Yeah, you're an SN boomer. You already said that you were a boomer.
Yeah,
we know that you're a boomer.
Yeah.
Amber says no. A boomer is somebody who's 65 or older. You're not there yet, John.
So close.
You're not there yet. But she also does raise a good point that the boomers are using up all of our Social Security reserves. Now we have to work until we die.
That's the running joke.
To be fair to John, though, also, that was the whole Ponzi scheme to begin with.
That's the running joke with my boomer coworker is, come on, lottery.
But at the same time, though, man, like the core of the boomers, if you get rid of the hippies, the core of the boomers were raised on core family values.
Yeah. And I can't blame them for voting for their own interests. That's the way you should vote. You should vote to whatever best suits you. That's human nature.
Most of us people of my age, we're not fooled by these arseholes that'll say, we'll give you everything if you vote for us. We've been through it.
John, John, you may not be fooled, but remember, okay.
Hey, look, this is the IRS calling. You need to pay us $500, or else we are going to turn you over to the police. I needed Apple Pay gift cards.
Yeah.
Green dot gift cards. Green dot
gift cards. Yeah.
But John, you the boomers back during the 70s and 80s, when they were in their prime of voting, yeah, they didn't fall for shit, and the liberals didn't push the shit quite as. I mean, of course, we had a complete flip, really, on the scale politically, because most of the boomers are liberals.
The neoclassical liberal stands for personal liberty.
Yeah.
Neoclassical. That is not the definition that we use with liberal anymore. And now I will admit that I don't. John, when did you come to the United States?
2007.
Right. So your experience is probably quite a bit different than of others in your age and your generation that were in the U.S. I would imagine.
And
your experience is
a lot of those boomer liberals got so used to just voting for the Democrats because the Democrats were had been labeled as liberals, and like the JFK liberal is long gone. Trump is the closest thing to a JFK liberal that there is now.
That's why I say most Dem voters will only vote for someone with a D behind their name, no matter what the fuck this person has done.
You vote blue no matter who.
Yeah.
We're getting pretty far into former
Need
podcast territory.
Yeah, we're here. Okay, so going backpedaling, getting back on the topic. So this is one thing that I have heard, and honestly, I think it makes a lot of sense. If you have daughters, as a man, as the father, you should treat your daughters like they should expect to be treated when they're old enough to date.
Yep.
You open the door for your daughter. Now you don't sit there and she's your princess, and you can treat her as a princess, as your princess, but you also let her know, hey, you aren't the top of the pedestal.
Right.
Like treat her with the respect that she deserves, and teach her what she should expect as far as respect, but also be the parent figure and teach her that she needs to also, give that same respect to whoever's giving her the respect.
I agree with that.
Well, I can't say much. I don't have kids.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Amber says it's up to the mother. Then it's up to the mother to teach her what to give in return.
Yep, that's what I was trying to say.
And as far as fathers with their sons, I really think that we need to get back to a point where we teach them respect, respect of not just women, but respect of everybody.
Yep.
How to look people in the eyes when you're talking to them.
Hold the door open for
Hold,
anybody, male,
yes.
female.
To
say thank you, please.
I mean,
it's not that hard.
it isn't. And I mean, like today, like we got pizza from a pizza place and stuff, ordered it, and we waited for the half an hour, and then I went in, and the pizza wasn't ready. It was just going into the ovens at the time. So I sat down, and I just sat there in a chair and everything, and a guy ahead of me, he had his arms so full of pizzas and everything. And I immediately jumped up and ran over to the door. I'm like, "You need some help?" And he's like, "No, no, I got this." I'm like, "Are you sure?" And I was going to help him, like, get his
That's a
pizzas
man.
out the
That's a
door.
man thing, though. That's a man thing. We could have like an arm falling off. We could have like an arm like just held out behind, saying like, "Nah, I'm good. Just give me some Scotch tape and some Neosporin, and I'll be fine."
That is true too. I mean, but the fact that you're putting yourself out there to, to be kind and respect your fellow man.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that is part of, that is like the golden rule. I mean, I would love it if somebody would offer to help. Am I going to let them? Hell no. I mean,
Like,
Yeah.
I got all these groceries. Don't worry. Go back in the house. I got these. Don't worry.
Now,
I'll be damned if you help me carry my groceries to my truck.
I went to the store today, and this is the most hilarious thing. So I went to the store today, did all my grocery shopping, got that stuff in, went to the convenience store, just grabbed some drinks, whatnot. And I saw the most hilarious thing is I saw, like, we talk about opening doors for people, whatnot. I saw a lady I wouldn't open, I'd fucking close the door on because I could do long division on her fucking eyebrows. And as a person my age, I instantly knew, no, don't do it. Only bad shit can happen. Only bad shit can happen. Those eyebrows are painted on so fucking thick that I legitimately could do long division on them.
Well, and you see, that that leads me to another thought that I had here a minute ago while we were talking about, raising boys. And Amber also, posted in the chat that it makes her think of a quote she heard one time. Do you want your sons to grow up being comfortable, or do you want them to grow up being strong? A lot of the things, and Sam, I have a feeling that you know this, and this is why you bit your tongue. A lot of issues these days, too, are our sons aren't afraid of being smacked in the mouth.
Nope.
And that's that little voice that popped up in the back of Sam's head of, should I actually say something out loud?
I thought there was a serious thought where I was sitting there, I was getting ready to pay for it, and I'm like, God damn, I could do long division on them bitches.
Our kids they're growing up not afraid of what it's like to be popped in the mouth.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, punch your
I
kid
think
in the
everyone
fucking
should be
teeth.
punched. I think everyone should be punched in the face at least once in their life.
Yeah.
They should at least get that feeling, and then that way it's always in there. So they go, huh, is this thought actually fucking worth exploring? Because what's the consequences of this?
Yeah.
They're
And
raised on a virtual world where
there's no consequence.
Yeah, you can talk shit to anybody, and most of the time nothing's going to happen. Now, it would be hilarious, not for me because I would have to pay for it, but if like one of my kids talked shit to the wrong person, and it turned out to be some anonymous hacker that suddenly just tore their shit up online or
That
something
that
like that. But
that reminds me of Jay and Silent Bob
and Dave
Strike
and I
Back.
do know some people
Oh,
from
yes,
that
we
era.
yes, I do.
That seriously reminds me of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back,
Yep.
where they're sitting there and they're seeing all the movie reviews, and eventually they like print out the list and they start going to those people's houses.
Yeah.
Are you?
Mhm.
Here's another thing from my generation. My parents did not show a lot of love to each other or the kids.
Yeah.
You have to show love to your spouse, your kids, and things like that. I've got people I work with who have heard me talk to my wife on the phone. Before I hang up, I say to her, I love her. And they get a laugh out of it.
Well,
I don't ask why, but for me, it's because my parents did not show a lot of love. And it's,
Well, and that's a dangerous like slinky down the steps, right? Now at this point, we're all just hoping that we all know we're gonna fuck our children up, but we just hope it's not as bad as our parents
Yeah.
fucked us
Yeah.
up.
I will say that is one area that so my parents got divorced when I was real young. My dad was a cop and full time firefighter both, and he always made it a point to tell me that he loved me before
Mhm.
like he would drop me off at my mom's house. And one time, like my mom at the time never said, she would rarely tell me love you or anything like that. And uh he had told me one time that the reason why he tells me that is because he didn't know whether he didn't want he wanted me to know if something happened and I never saw him again, that he still loved me. And he never wanted to part without saying that he loved me. So that way it was, one of the last things. And so I started telling my mom I love her when I would leave to go to his house or before I'd go to school or anything like that. And she's like it got to her, and she's like sort of wondering why I suddenly saying this. And I remember telling her, well, it's because you don't know what's going to happen through the day, or between what's going to happen between from now until I see you again. And I want you to know that I love you and stuff. And so since my dad told me that, I sort of grew up on that mindset. So anybody, like I tell before I go to work every morning, I go and I can't tell my kids because they're asleep, but I tell them before they go to bed every night that I love them. I mean, I see
No,
some
we're losing him.
I see some nasty shit on the roads every
Oh,
day,
it's
so
me.
it's like so I I never know what's going to happen to me, but I check on them every morning before I leave for work. And before I leave, I kiss my wife goodbye and I tell her I love her. She's usually still sleeping or half asleep or half awake, but and I and I go to work. And you know, it's just it's like a mindset. The biggest thing for I think that people need to get back into the habit of is getting into the mindset that you can always be the best that you can be. You can always be a better you. And it starts with respect and trust and honor. And, you know, just try to be the best that you can be. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm the best at anything. I'm not going to say that I've been the most chivalrous person or man.
I don't know. You was always sweet to me. Top 5 for sure.
Just for you. But I mean, and Sam, because we played paintball together.
But here's like
paintball love.
After your thought, I have a question for both you and Dave. I think it should be a
26.
good, like, really pin the nail on this.
How old are you, Sam?
I'm 33.
33.
Jesus.
All right. Luke, you're 40s.
3.
43. All right. So 10 years. It's
I've
probably
known
been
I've
about
known
10
Luke.
years. So Luke groomed Sam.
Yes, we've already established.
Yes.
That.
Yep.
We've established this.
Yes. Yeah. Hello. Sam used to, when I managed the paintball store, Sam's dad would bring him and his little brother in all the time. Like, they were so regular. I should have got like stools and put them up at the counter of the paintball store.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to Sam's question.
So,
yeah, you might as well. I've lost my train.
Yeah. So here's something, and this is specifically for David Luke. Do you feel that your duty should be to your spouse first or to your children first?
Spouse.
Spouse 100%.
100%.
Okay. And
because
do you care to expand on that a little bit as to like why
okay.
you're not?
When your spouse is your best friend, you plan on spending the rest of your life with your spouse.
Yeah, I only got to deal with them kids for like 18 years.
Exactly. you're raising your kids to become independent and to move out and be on their own. Your spouse, you're going to be with your spouse theoretically the rest of your life or the rest of their life. And hopefully that's the case. And hopefully it's a long time together. So after the kids are gone, you're still going to be with your spouse. So, your spouse is your best friend. I mean, she comes first on everything when it comes to, I mean, yes, I have life insurance, I have plans. If something were to happen to me where she would be able to take care of the kids and herself for a duration of time. But then again, at the same time, it's like, I mean, I also have plans for, not having to worry about the kids. And if something happens to me, is she okay? I mean, it's, yeah.
Amber actually answered the question for me in the chat. And she's 100% correct. Every day before I leave for work, I make sure I get Amber out of bed, give her a kiss, tell her I love her, and then I'll see her tonight when I get home. Every night when I get home, I come in, I take my shoes off, whatever I have in my hand, I put down, I scratch the dog on the head while I'm walking into the living room to give Amber a kiss and say hi. We talked, pretty much my entire drive home, but the first thing I do is show that affection. The kids see how I act towards Amber.
Yeah.
They get that view of, how you treat your significant other. Everything that I do, and I put it in this order, I do for Amber and the kids. I go to work and I work 12 hours a day for Amber and the kids. Um, Without her, I wouldn't have the kids. I put her first because one, the kids need to understand that I'm not here to work for them. And they're not here to work for me, but they have to earn the things that they want. You have to do something to get what you're looking for. And two, because everything that I have is, from her, for her. So she will always be first, and the kids will see that, and they will learn that they put their significant other first, and hopefully it just sets that example.
Yep.
Right, and that's basically what I was looking for, because I have a feeling that a lot of issues is we're seeing the inverse of that, where some people will think, hey, maybe the children come first, and then that can cause some friction then out.
Well, that comes back to the boomers, the boomer generation where, boomer humor is always slated as the I hate my wife, my wife's a bitch. And, there's probably some truth to that because they were raised by the silent generation and we're taught that divorce is a bad thing. Um, and then you don't have that love with your significant other, and you tend to push that over onto the kids. So that's kind of where that change starts to happen, where kids were being essentially babied, and that's
Fucking boomers. God
now
damn
we're here. It was the goddamn boomers.
it.
Yeah, Amber says it's called generational trauma. You're 100% correct.
Right.
Shit. I had something that I was gonna say and I completely lost it with your rant.
I mean, it's not wrong though, John. That is, don't, if you do it, you're a boomer, John.
Oh, I was gonna say, okay. And you, Sam, you are absolutely correct. My ex, not my ex-wife, but my ex that uh I was with for about 5 years before I was with my wife and everything. She had a daughter, and at one point, this conversation actually came up between us, and I said, "I put you before I put any of the kids because I had my teenager at the time, and she had her daughter, and we had a house together and everything else." And she said, "No, no, kids come first, and then you." And lo and behold, you know, we're no longer together. And to be now to really think about it, now that I really think about it, I believe my ex-wife was under the same mindset because I believe I remember her saying close to the same things while we were married. Now we didn't have Jimmy at the time. We had Jimmy while going through the divorce. So, but if I recall, that was the mindset that she had as well. So
Now, do you think the reason for that is along the lines of, like Dave mentioned, I don't want to fuck my kids up, so it's a massive overcorrection of, hey, the kids come first, so we don't fuck them up, but in return,
Hold on.
because we try not to fuck them up, we fuck them up even more.
Hold on. Now, I didn't say I didn't want to fuck them up.
Only fuck them up a little bit.
Just a little less than what I got.
a controllable
Control.
amount of fucking.
Yeah, a
Listen,
control
I'm
amount of-
aware. I'm aware. Like, and that's the thing. You're gonna fuck your kids up. It's whether or not how much you fuck your kids up.
Exactly.
I'm
You
honest.
can't get away with it. Like, it's impossible. It's something it's always going to happen. You're gonna fuck them up a little bit.
I'm honestly, I think it's a lot to do more with helicopter parent meets uh meets I don't know, princess mindset.
Yes. Well, that's what I dealt with my ex-wife. Her mom was a helicopter parent, always hovering around her. And her dad, who I love to death, we still talk frequently. He's a really good friend of mine. But he unfortunately raised her to believe that she was a princess. Like he raised her in that Disney fairy tale mindset And she grew up thinking that that's what she's going to find in the real world.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that doesn't exist. That's why it's a fairy tale, and that's what she believed, and more power to her, I guess.
Hell, history shows that real life princesses don't get it very well.
No, they don't. They get beat, they get murdered in their fucking shitty little shack in northern Russia.
Or meet a brick wall at 35 miles an hour.
Well, that was the queen. That's different.
Well, no.
Wasn't a brick. Hello, that was. Wait.
It was a guardrail.
That was a pillar.
That's right. It was a bridge abutment.
Okay, we're coming up on the 2 hour mark, so let's any last advice that any of you guys would have as far as to the younger generations or the current generations that are trying to raise younger generations.
Affection's not weakness, and weak men raise weak children.
Don't let the government tell your kids what they can and cannot do.
Fuck the government. All my kids are raised that way, including this one.
I've raised the boys think that the IRS is Satan.
I mean, yes.
Hey, I signed my first petition today, and it was to abolish the property taxes in Michigan. So
you should hear my 6-year-old say tax fraud. It's hilarious.
Taxes are theft.
Well, especially when it's the great American pastime, when you look at the way some buildings are built in the United States and you go, why would anyone do that? And then you read into the history of it, it's because of fucking tax evasion, which is that makes it the great American pastime. It's not fucking baseball, it's fucking tax evasion.
Well, guys, I'd like to remind everybody to follow us on Noster. All 4 of us are on Noster. We got Freelance Libertarian. We have Tactical Koala. We have AR-10 Jeebus. Myself, that dude, Luke. Also, the podcast is on Instagram as well. And make sure to subscribe to, and make sure to jump onto our Discord because we do like talking on there. And I'm sure that Brooke would love to have more engagement to deal with on there as well. So, but also subscribe to us on your podcatcher of choice. For those of you on Odyssey, with my fancy dancy inlay, overlay, whatever, it shows Fountain, it shows Odyssey, it shows Amazon Music, it shows Apple Podcasts. We're also on iHeart. We're also on Spotify. You name it, as far as a podcatcher, I'm pretty sure that we're on it. But Fountain is my recommendation, so you can earn Bitcoin, which in this day and age where the dollar is constantly falling, by the way, beef prices are horrible. Anyways, yeah, find us, follow us, subscribe to us. And until next week, this is Luke.
I'm Dave.
I'm John.
And this is Sam.
And keep your powder dry. Thank you, everybody.